So the items that I told you guys I was going to talk about tonight, I'm going to put those in the group chat so that everybody can have those. My segment tonight is going to be fairly brief. I just wanted to talk to you guys about things that Congress is the things that Congress, the House and the Senate are both doing right now, how to find out these things and where to read them if you choose to. So, a while back, we talked about some of the things that were in the coronavirus relief package that Congress was trying to push through. They've taken out the minimum wage requirement. They recently, like earlier today, late yesterday, restricted the number of families that were going to be able to get $1,400 checks based off of income. So now for individuals, it's capped at 80,000, and for jointly filed incomes, it's 160,000. So before, anyone who made over the upper limit, they phased out the amount. So it would slowly start to fade to zero the more you made. But now they've hardline cut it off at 80,000 or 160,000, depending on how you file. So roughly that's about 9 to 10 million families and households that are going to be affected by that current change. So what I wanted to show you guys was how to find it. It's a little over 5,500 pages, so it's a lot to read. But all in all, it tells you everything that's in the coronavirus package. So without even having to read it all, and if you just want to know, like, what is this money going to? It's $1.9 trillion. It's a lot of money. Like, you just want to be an informed citizen and know where your money's going when you pay taxes. Well, here you go. This bill, again, as you can see at the top, 5,593 pages. And soon into the table of contents, it actually starts to tell you what this bill is going for. So it's going towards agricultural programs, farm production, rural development programs, domestic food programs, foreign assistance and related programs. It's a lot. That's just stuff on the first page. It's going to the Department of Commerce, Justice, Science, related agencies, provisions. It's going to the Department of Defense for military and research and other things. It's going towards energy and water development, financial services and general government appropriations, Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Interior, the Department of Labor. So it's telling you all the different agencies who are going to be getting money or having something to do with this bill. So what I did, I was just curious. I was earlier just trying to find what they were going to say about individual checks. So I just typed in 1,400. I think it was only mentioned one time, just once, the $1,400 checks, but the numbers that are in here are weirdly centered around 1,400. So this is like $1,400,000,000 here. That's for farm and rural development. 1,400, just the numbers in line like that. It's in this document 14 times. So this is $21,400,000 that's going towards power administration. So this is the Department of Energy. So you can do this yourself. I'll put the link in the group chat. But one thing that was interesting to me, I just passed the first one, is that a lot of this money in the stimulus package, I'd say about 80% of the money in the stimulus package isn't even being used for stimulus. It's being used for other stuff. Like, for instance, we have a little over $1 billion going towards the Asian Development Fund, which is a part of the Asian Development Bank. We have money going towards the African Development Bank. So these are like allies and friends who now we are supporting with our stimulus package. And the Secretary of Treasury is the entity that will be cutting that check going to those individuals. So that's Janet Yellen, essentially. Gaza, West Bank is also in here, export and investment assistance. So a lot of this money, there's the one about West Bank in Gaza. A lot of this money is going towards other countries, their banks, international funds to help the development of other countries. This money is also going towards cutting certain programs here in the United States. So I was just reading part of this, and it's like 16 pages that goes into detail about it. But for students applying for college, they're changing the index on how students are going to be able to get Pell Grants. So now they're, instead of doing it based on income, they're going to be doing it based off the parent's age. So the older your parents are, the more money you'll get, or the more money they'll take away from the parent's income, and you'll be fit into a bracket for an amount that you'll get for a Pell Grant based on your parents' age, which I think is crazy. But anyway, so they're planning on changing how students get federal funds. They're planning on changing FAFSA. It's a lot of stuff in here. It's just weird, the stuff that they decided to put into this bill. Also, if you own firearms, I don't know if I singled it out, because what Congress will do, they'll put everything in one huge PDF document, and then you can go through and click, and then you'll find the individual pieces. So, like, for instance, this is where Congress talked about minimum wage. So in the text for minimum wage, they actually go through and talk about actually forming some type of program where they can electronically verify employment without having to go through the employer. So they want to do like a national database. So that's what this part of the bill is for, which was going to be included with the minimum wage increase. This is also another bill that they were talking about, minimum wage. So I found that this one was interesting. I haven't read the whole thing yet, but they have a provision in this stimulus package that's for Black farmers. And what caught my attention was I was reading the transcript of what they talk about during the Congress meeting. So like if you watch C-SPAN and you see them talking, there's someone transcribing and keeping like detailed records of what everyone says. So if you go through and read it, one of the senators actually stated that that should be a part of that should be a part of reparations for Black people. So they threw it in there. And so, yeah, this part of the bill is also talking about what should be done about reparations. This was first introduced in January, but as you can see, they've talked about it again day before yesterday. So it's something that they're actively talking about, but they're actively talking about it because they're trying to throw in this farm bill, which they will put towards put towards the amount for the consideration of reparations for Black people. Anyway, moving on, because it's a lot of stuff. This part of the bill right here was interesting because it talks about US firearm transfers to Saudi Arabia, but it also classifies how Americans can handle their firearms and what they're allowed to have. So when Biden was on the campaign trail and he was talking about firearms and stuff, they're trying to slip that in now under the guise of Saudi Arabia and people transferring guns there. But when you actually go through and read all of the text, I think in PDF form, this is like 2-3 pages. It talks about how Americans can handle their firearms. This is one of the transcripts. So the congressional record, they printed off almost like a newsletter, and it details, word for word what everybody says. which is what I was just telling you guys that I was reading. This is another firearms legislation. So I found this link and the one from Saudi Arabia. And this just goes into detail about the requirements for firearm holders here in the United States, what the requirements are, the age, what's considered an antique weapon, what's considered military style, what you'll have to do to be able to get weapons, talks about psych evaluations, medications and things that will prevent people from actually getting weapons. So it's throwing all this new stuff out there for people who have firearms. I haven't gotten to that one yet, but this is about space, science, technology, transportation, and infrastructure. This one is for the cancellation of federal student loan debt. The compensation fund is also in there. This is just another part of the compensation fund bill that they threw in there. And then I haven't actually read this one yet, but this is a Medicare sequester moratorium act. So when I get there, I'll let you guys know what this is about. But when you scroll through the channels on your TV and you're just trying to find something to watch, like just for kicks, every now and then just put it on C-SPAN. See if the House or the Senate's on. So usually there's C-SPAN 1 and C-SPAN 2. The House has one and the Senate has the other if they're both in session at the same time. Just see what they're talking about, like just to see. Because sometimes they're talking about stuff that's going to affect you directly and you won't even know about it until you go to the tax office or you go to file your taxes or you go to the gas pump and you see that gas is up 10 cents. A lot of times we don't care about gas prices being up 5-10 cents, but know why they're up. Gas prices are up 5 to 10 cents because yeah, we all have to put gas in our car, but is it because of taxes? Is it because the price of oil's gone up? Is it because the gas station owner wants to make more profit? Like just know why. Like even if you know like, okay, well I have to put in my gas in my car, who cares? Well, if they're passing taxes, you didn't know about it, well, you're just paying extra taxes. Whereas if it's an owner of the gas station wanting to make more profit, a lot of people don't know and realize that if it's a gas station versus taxes, you can actually go in and negotiate a gas price with an owner if it's for profit's sake. Like who knew? A lot of states have that provision in their energy laws where you can do that, but you have to know, okay, is this extra 10 cents because of taxes or, you know, they want to get more money? And it's just as simple as going to wherever you live, going to that state's energy site and looking to see what the tax actually is. And then it'll tell you what that county or what your city is paying for gas. So you can calculate what the gas price is supposed to be on average. And then when you go to the gas pump, you can say, okay, this is a little more than normal. Let me see like what I can do about this gas price. If you're just having issues paying for your gas, but most people don't even think about it. They just fill up their tank and go. So that's that. A little more about the coronavirus really quick. So states are starting to reopen, take away restrictions. Johnson & Johnson has, you know, their vaccine out and it's starting to be distributed across the country. So now big thing is seeing what's going to happen once states start to reopen. Are we going to get resurgences of the original coronavirus or one of the mutations of the virus that has started to spread? Or are we all going to be good? So Texas is essentially going first, so to say. There are lots of states wanting to go ahead and do this. So we'll be paying close attention to that. Yes, the great state of Texas. Texas has a lot of issues going on right now. I mean, some of them they'll get over relatively quick, but there are some parts of Houston and some other cities in Texas that are having supply chain issues. They're having problems with getting their shelves restocked after the snowstorm. In Mississippi, like one of their largest cities, they don't have running water right now because the infrastructure just sucked in the city. So now the National Guard is having to send in trucks with bottled water. So we have some issues going on. So I don't feel like now is a good time to just try to change the game. But nonetheless, states are going to do what they want to do. And um, it's just something we'll keep our eye on. Speaking of infrastructure, the infrastructure bill and report came out for the United States. So we're actually doing fairly well for the United States. It's a C- when it comes to our infrastructure. Um, the only thing as far as infrastructure is concerned that decreased from last year is bridges. We were already ranked as a D on our infrastructure report card with bridges and dams, and we scored lower this year than we did last year. So that means that bridges aren't being maintained and taken care of like they're supposed to in the United States, essentially. Also, our power grid, as we found out, is not as great as we thought it was. So those are things we're going to have to take into consideration. So Biden did have infrastructure spending in his bill, and as part of his platform that he ran on. So if he keeps his word and we do get improvements made to our infrastructure, just remember, when I was talking about stocks on the class a couple classes ago, infrastructure is one of those sectors in the stock market you can look into and think about what you'll actually need. So it's a common sense thing, like sit back and think, okay, what type of materials or what kind of companies are going to be needed when it comes to infrastructure? Companies that provide military and government contracts, those companies, energy companies, raw materials companies. So think about those whenever you're looking at stocks and just trying to think forward. We do have a speech from Jerome Powell tomorrow, as well as OPEC meeting. So I'll try to keep you guys up to date on what's going on with that, just so that you'll be up to date. Oil prices are already up, just off of the news that the essentially secondary members to OPEC want to cut production. So Russia, I told you guys to watch out for Russia. Russia has had talks with some of the Middle Eastern countries, and now Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, they're agreeing to cut production, which if they cut production, that cuts the supply. Demand is going to stay the same, and if not increase, because we're getting close to the holiday season, people are starting to travel. The world wants to open back up. We have states reopening here in the United States. So that's going to drive prices up. And then also speaking of the Middle East, we had airstrikes on the Middle East, and then they retaliated. So we'll watch and see where that goes. If it goes somewhere, again, military spending, the same companies that do infrastructure, military contracts and government contracts here in the United States are going to be those exact same companies that profit if we send troops overseas, the exact same companies. So if anything comes of the airstrikes and the retaliation, just know you're going to the exact same companies that do infrastructure here in the United States. So there's a lot of them. There's a lot of good ones. I don't want to tell you guys which ones to pick because it would just be my bias and ones that I like. I want you guys to be able to go out and do your own research and just find companies that range from small to big, and have a really solid reputation. So that's all I have for you guys. I'll go ahead and put all the other stuff I was going to talk about in the group chat. I'll cover the jobs numbers from earlier today, some of the speeches that happened earlier today between the press secretary and Biden that didn't get a lot of media coverage or press. I'll go over that. tell you guys what to look for tomorrow with Biden as well as OPEC. And then I'll also put my expectations for Friday's job number in the group chat also. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Levels so that he can get started with the technicals. If you guys have any questions, you can put them in the chat or you can hold them to the end.
Cool beans, cool beans. Great job as always. A lot of great information. We appreciate you, Carmen. Give me a second, yeah. All right, cool beans. Let's jump into technicals. Let's get into it. So as always, we're gonna look at the dollar. All right, cool beans. So we're on the 15-minute. Let's just go out to the daily to start. Okay, so we can see that the dollar is giving us bullish momentum to the upside. We did get a bearish move to start the week out as expected. And now we see the dollar giving us that bullish push to the upside. If you recall earlier in the week, as Carmen went over fundamentals and we talked about the stimulus as she did tonight as well, with the money going into the economy, we stimulating the economy, so we should see the dollar give us some temporary bullish movement to the upside. So I'm thinking that's what we're starting to see here. And I at least want to see the dollar come back up and retest last week's high. But we got to break this order block first. If we can't break this price level here, then of course we will expect the dollar to push back down to the downside to fill in this imbalance. If I could draw your attention to this imbalance right here. See this imbalance here to here. You see we have no selling in this area, just straight buying. Hasn't been filled in. That's our imbalance. So if we can't break this price level here, we will expect for the dollar to come back down and fill in that imbalance. But let's see how the dollar reacts to the news of the stimulus package getting passed, when it gets passed, if it gets passed. Pretty sure it's going to get passed, but we'll see. Now going down to the hour, we can see how the dollar gave us that bearish movement to start the week out with. Now we're starting to see some bullish momentum to the upside. We're making higher highs and higher lows. This low being higher than this low, this high being higher than this high, higher highs and higher lows. So we just need to see price break above, which is breaking, trying to break out now, but we need to see it break above and hold and keep pushing to come up and retest this previous high. With that being said, we'll look at our currency pairs. We know that our currency pairs move in the opposite direction of the dollar. So looking at Euro USD, we can see that with the dollar pushing up, we're starting to see downward movement from Euro USD. And so I want to see Euro USD hold below this level, really this high right here, and come on down and fill in this imbalance. See the imbalance here? No selling offered. Market for you. Here. Have no selling offered in that space. So we should see price reach for it. So that's what I'll be expecting out of Euro USD going forward. Looking at GBP USD, same thing. If we hold this structure, if we hold, which we just got a good aggressive push down here, price pulled back but didn't get back above the last down candle. So we can see this candle already starting to push down. So we should see price come in, fill in this imbalance, just like with Euro USD, and potentially keep pushing to the downside because we got imbalance all to the downside. And this is a nice imbalance right here. So if you go back and look at Monday night's class, I talked about this imbalance here and that we could get that move this week. So just be patient. But so far so good. We have been getting the moves that we've been looking for. Moving on to Ncd Usd, same thing. Everything is correlating nicely. Broke out of there. Let's see, break out of here. Come on down. Already filled in that imbalance right there. It's kind of iffy. We could see NZD. Sometimes NZD will do what it want to do now and reach back up here for this imbalance here before it come down. But let me see. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we'll probably see NZD come on down in here. And then we also had levels of imbalance to the downside on NZD too that I told you guys Monday that could get filled in this week. Still being patient though, because NZD USD could reach back up. Look at NZ. And then we got non-farm payroll coming up. So it's this a tough week to be trading. Weeks like with non-farm, I like to be done trading by Wednesday, by today. Like really by London opening on Wednesday, like going up into New York opening. I like to be like closing out all my trades, like going into New York opening, maybe like a little bit into like noon and like getting out of everything for the week by New York noon time Wednesday. So like that's on non-farm payroll week because like you'll see. Um, but yeah, so I do want to see our currency pairs give us that bullish move down. I'm sorry, give us that bearish move down. Let's look at silver. Silver's been bouncing off of this structure so beautifully. It's like it's been using that structure to give us some beautiful plays. Yeah, beautiful plays. It's like 8,400 pips right there. Then off of the structure back down, another 80. Mouse acting crazy. Might need to change my batteries. It's like 12,000 pips to the downside. Then came back up, gave you another opportunity. You see it came back up, filled in this imbalance here. Then gave us another sell off. It's like major opportunity up in here, man, when you know how to play your levels and trade price action and market structure. Yes, until one of the structures get broken. That's excuse me. That's trading price action and market structure at its finest. So yeah, if silver pushes up, give us an aggressive push up, and we come back and retest it and hold it, take it back up to the structure again. Easy money. Easy money. Same thing with gold. I told you guys back here when gold broke through here. If it broke through here, came back, retested it, I'm wanting to see it come down and retest these price levels down here at 17.12, 17.9, came down, retested it, gave us, I would say, one good buy opportunity. This one right here may develop into a great buy opportunity. You should already be in it if you're going to take it, or go ahead and pulling the trigger now to try to ride it back up to 1776. Yeah. Now I have my stop loss below here, of course. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Looking at oil, all gave us the buy. Gave us the buy. I told y'all I wanted to see all come down, fill in this imbalance. And he did. So we see oil. Excuse me, y'all. I think oil gonna keep pushing to the upside. Yeah. We're gonna see oil keep pushing to the upside. You know, oil correlates with the dollar anyway. So I want to see the dollar keep pushing up. So I want to see oil keep pushing up as well. These equal highs up here is very clean. So y'all know what's sitting above these equal highs up here. You already know. Y'all know what we call that. Liquidity, liquidity, liquidity. So yeah, let's see price reach for that liquidity. Moving on to Euro USD. I'm sorry. Moving on to U30. Let me let this person in the room. All right, moving on to US 30. Let's go back to Monday. We're going to do the replay tonight, and we're going to do the replay on time and price. Because we've been studying time and price. I've been going over it with you guys, and I'm going to keep, going over it with you and just trying to drill it home until you can just until it's like second nature to you. Because once you can trade with time and price, and once you can follow price action and market structure, you become a dangerous trader in this industry. So let's go back to Monday night during the call. We was right here. This is the 8 o'clock candle. So let's just take everything else off. All right, so this is where we was at Monday night during the call. Let's go down to the 15-minute time frame. All right. So if you guys go back to Monday night's video on YouTube and check it out, you will see that I told you guys that if we didn't get back above this high, that I wanted to see US 30 come down and fill in this imbalance. Told you guys that we had a fair value gap right here as coined by Michael Hudson. And I wanted to see that filled in. I told you guys if we seen that filled in, then I would want to see if we came down and feel this little slight imbalance that we got in right here. And so we'll replay it and see what took place and what time it took place. So let's just check it out. Technically, that's your fill of the fair value gap as coined by Michael Hudson right here, the fair value gap. That's the feel of that I wanted to see. But I also wanted to see price come all the way down in here. Let's see how it played out. What time did I tell you guys that time and price usually give us the setup? That time is from 2 to 5 o'clock. So this is 2 a.m. This is 5. So let's mark that. 2. Let's make that. Nah. Yeah. 5. All right. 2 to 5. Look at that. Swing up. Look at that. That's beautiful. Swing up. Notice when that swings up, what does it do when it swings up? It clears out all these fairly equal highs right here. What do we call that? That's liquidity, buy side liquidity. The same thing that I just marked on the other chart with the dollar sign above it. That's our buy side liquidity. This is the relevant high that I told you guys that I didn't want to see price break back down in order to, that I didn't want to see price break back above in order for us to get the sell to the downside to fill in the fair value gap in the small little imbalance that we have down here. Price never got back above there. We had the fair value gap fill here. Price came up, accumulated, aka consolidated, aka built up orders right here, which created these equal highs. Then we see price roll over, sell off, and then give us this like slowly jagged move, real slow move to the upside. But look what occurs right here during the time that I told you guys to pay attention to. The time and price, time and price, time and price, time and price. 2 to 5, 2 to 5, 2 to 5. Price swings up, gives you this aggressive bullish candle here, and in the midst of doing that, it comes and clears out your liquidity, all of it, except for what? Your relevant high that you don't want to see price break back above. Even this push up here was a liquidity grab. with these equal highs here. Liquidity grab, run over, create liquidity, comes up, time, London, 2 to 5 comes up, clears all this liquidity. Now let's pay attention. Where does price go for the remainder of London after you get the setup? Oh my goodness. Lord have mercy. Somebody, oh man. It's ridiculous. It's how you know that, Mr. Levels? Because I know that. And this is what I'm trying to get you guys to know and to be able to see and be able to follow. Because once you can make however much money you want to make according to the size of your account. That's easy money for me. I do that in my sleep. So I'm gonna break this down. I don't know if Vit's on tonight. Ghost, you in here? I don't think Ghost in here. So what I'm gonna do is start a recorder and take any questions.